For the last couple weeks, I posted a few pictures from our trip to the Rocky Mountains this summer, and this is another in that series. This is actually not taken in Rocky Mountain National Park, unlike the other two. This is taken in some mountain range near the Denver area. We were staying with my cousin and her husband for a couple days, and they took us out on a Saturday for kind of an exploration of the entire area. And we went on a train ride, and we went driving and did some hiking. And on our way back to town at the end of the day, we were driving down this long winding mountain pass, and there was this clear stream. Was it spring fed? Probably. I don't think it was glacier fed. Spoiler alert, I don't know much about the Rocky Mountains, so feel free to fill me in on any of this. But we saw this stream next to the road, and I asked my cousin's husband, I said, would you mind pulling over? I really want to get a picture of that stream. So as soon as we found a good spot, we pulled over, got out, got my tripod, got the Fuji. And there's a couple things that I could only do with the Fuji. For one, I had to drag the shutter, and that means just shoot with a really slow shutter. It was a bright afternoon day. I couldn't just shoot for 5 seconds and have that work. You have to, you need a heavy duty neutral density filter and a really small aperture and stuff like that. All I had was my Fuji X100F, but it does have a built-in 3-stop ND filter, which is really handy. So I dialed the aperture down to f16, the smallest it'll go. I put it at ISO 200, which is the second lowest it'll go. Technically, the Fuji will go to low ISO, which is about the equivalent of 100. I usually don't like shooting on that ISO. I like to go as low as it will natively go, which is 200. And then I activated the neutral density filter, and I think I got about a 1 second shutter speed. I'm not sure. I should go back and check. You'd think I would have that prepared, but I didn't show up to class today with my notes, so here we are. I also wanted to make sure that I got a shot that was low to the ground, so I stuck my tripod in this stream. I was wearing sandals, so I kind of waded out, but the water was coming really fast, and this was deep, and I didn't want to risk my life or my camera for this shot. But I was able to get a pretty good one anyway. The first couple shots did not turn out at all. They looked like what you see here, but there's nothing in the foreground to grab your attention. That's when I realized I needed something else. And see that pile of rocks on the right-hand side? That became the key to this whole photo. And I kind of wish I could go back and recompose this to get a closer shot of those rocks and the water just coursing over those rocks. As it is, it works fine, as you see here. And this is all basically straight out of camera. It's a JPEG, it hasn't really been processed at all. I think I did just an ever so slight color correction, but not really. Now, what didn't work out so well in this photo? For one, I really don't like how blown out that sky is. I think this is one area that, believe it or not, mobile phones do really well. Mobile phones have built-in high dynamic range photography. Almost any mobile phone today would have taken this shot and would have compensated for the brightness of the sky. Instead of a white sky, you probably would have seen more of a bluish sky or a grayish sky. I think it was kind of overcast that day. And if I shot my Fuji in RAW and exposed properly, I could have exposed for the sky in RAW, or shot in RAW, exposed for the sky, so the sky's not blown out, and then brought up the colors of the rest of the photo, which would have been really dark, in the editing process later. I didn't do that. I shot in JPEG because 99 times out of 100, I'm shooting that Fuji in JPEG, so it's just sort of habit. I wish I could go back and redo this to get that sky from being so blown out. I'm also not super happy with the overall composition. It works, but I think I could have done a lot better. I didn't want to make everyone wait while I took a photo, so it is what it is, and it was a learning experience. And I do like how you can see the water kind of rushing on the left-hand side, and it doesn't quite capture the excitement of this rushing river like I hoped it would, but it was still a fun shot to take anyway.